Everything I just said, this is where we unlearn and learn as women. On this program is Women Supporting Women, where we talk about the things that we can do and do perfectly well. Anyways, before we introduce our guest who is seated right now through Zoom, we're going to be going for a breaker. And
Yes.
what tip are we having this morning?
So the tip we'll be having this morning is the Genius House Cleaning Hack, where we learn how to clean properly, not just cleaning, but cleaning properly, doing the cleaning effectively, cleaning the house, the tables, the kitchen, and just doing what you should as a woman. So let's have the tip. Thank you. Yo.
Tips to support women politicians. Being a politician is a tough job generally, but women face more and different challenges. More and sexualized online violence, sexist public and media scrutiny, and fewer resources make the cost of going into politics too high for men and women. This rational non-candidacy is bad for us all. The job of being a politician must become more attractive and possible for women from various backgrounds. How to support women in politics. Number 1. Volunteer for and support their campaigns. Women are being driven out of politics at alarming rates due to harassment, a lack of resources, smaller political networks, and more. You can help offset some of the struggles of getting into office by volunteering for the campaigns of women political leaders that you're inspired by. Their office will tell you how you can help, but your task may also include putting up posters, handing out flyers at polling booths, etc. Support your campaigns with resources. Financial support is important, but you can also provide material assistance by donating a venue, catering, etc. Women politicians tend to be less resourced. Number 2, show them your appreciation. Women politicians receive more online and physical hate than male politicians. We can be an army of love and kindness fighting against the hate. Supportive messages have been proven to help people's mental well-being and resilience. We created a template for writing a love letter to a politician, and check out this initiative training volunteers to push back against online hate directed at women and funded by a powerful man in Slovenia. Number 3, join a party and push for change. Many parties have disproportionately fewer women as members and thus unequal representation in internal discussions and decision-making processes. A great way to support women politicians is to join a party and push for changes to structures that hinder gender equity. By joining a party, you can also influence the party's stance on gendered policy matters. Number 4, be a conscious digital citizen. Online violence pushes women out of politics. 93% of women say they've been negatively impacted by online harassment. We can all do better and contribute to make the internet a less toxic and violent space by using the supermarket test. Ask yourself this question: would you say the same thing to a politician if you saw them in person at the supermarket? Learn more about the impact of technologies. Think twice about what you share. Your platforms have the power to amplify. Fact check and be thoughtful about the information you want to spotlight. Number 5, listen, learn, and do not assume. The job of a politician is harder than ever before. We're not going to get the great leaders we need if the job remains unattractive. You can help change what it means to be a politician by informing yourself about the day-to-day realities of the role and what you can do to change it in your local context. We can make being a politician something more that women want to do. Number 6, support organizations helping women politicians. there's a growing international movement of political leadership entrepreneurs supporting the renewal of political leadership. Many of them exclusively focus on supporting women to enter and thrive in politics. These important and innovative programs are often run with small teams and budget. Number 7. Stand up for women generally. Do what you can to level the playing field for girls and women in all areas for life. Options include talking to your family and friends about why this matters, joining community women's groups, attending demonstrations, signing petitions, creating support networks in your profession, faith community, town, in etc.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Please continue to stay connected because we're still unboxing so many things you'll be interested in and that will also add value to you as well. Now, Patricia?
Gratitude. Well, I was just going to call it Blossom because I'm used to calling Blossom.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're going to apologize on that tip. Actually, that wasn't the tip that was to be played anyway. It wasn't mix-up, we apologize. But on the same tip, it says women supporting women. We should stand up for each other.
Yeah.
So this is where we talk about women and this is where we support each other. We're going to be bringing in our guest via Zoom this morning. I don't know if she's ready. Let's have her on the screen if she's ready.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yes. Let me make us know who she is.
Chinenye Victory Titus is a purpose discovery coach, author, entrepreneur, founder of Nenye Consulting Convener, Unveil Your Presence Bootcamp, professional business automator, accountant, recognized as most inspired lady by Fela Women's Forum in 2024, and also empowerment advocate. Wonderful. She's so many things in one.
She's a lot. Right? She's a lot. That's the kind of woman I want to be. And that's the kind of women we want on this program.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will be talking today about the women and their identity. Chinenye, we're going to be asking you questions on this topic. Are we ready? Good morning. Anyway, you look so pretty, Chinenye.
Thank you so much. Good morning. Thank you for having me. I'm grateful.
Thank you for joining us this morning on the Women's Corner. We appreciate you. And so we're just going to go straight to today's topic. It's a lot, so we don't want to waste time because, we don't have much time on our hands. And this topic is fantastic. The topic says the woman and her identity. I'm going to go straight asking you one question, one very important question this morning. What does identity mean to you as a woman?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. While we are pursuing our dreams, a lot of women are still struggling with this question, who am I? A lot of women have this identity crisis. They have this issue of understanding who they are. And sadly, many women define their identity as what the society wants, expectations from family and friends, what they have, the clothes they put on. They tied their identity to something else. So what if the identity is taken away, the cast, the beauty, the man, what if it's all taken away? Does that mean they will also lose their identity? And there's another misconception about identity whereby many women confuse identity for activities. Let me break it down this way. As a woman, for example, a woman that is a wife. Some of them think being a wife is an identity, but that's wrong. Being a wife doesn't mean that's your identity, that's your role. As a mother, motherhood is a very good journey. And many people think motherhood is an identity, but that's a role. Our job, our bank details, that's not the definition of who we are. That's not our identity. So when we talk about identity as a woman, identity is the unshakable truth about us. It is God's branding about who we are. God created everyone differently. He gave us our unique identity. So the deep understanding of who you are, your value, your words, your uniqueness that differentiates you from others is your identity. Knowing who you are beyond what you have and what you do. That is who you are, that's your identity.
You so much for that. I love what you said because I used to think my identity is my name. I'm Patricia Urenu. So I feel my identity is my name, but you have just broken it down now.
Yes.
What do you used to think was your identity?
For me, I felt your identity as a woman is your values, your discoveries, and how you place yourself. That's what I just felt.
She has just broken it down for us.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on. Can you share a bit about your personal journey to discovering your identity?
Okay, my journey did not just happen overnight. It was a gradual process. For years, I've tried. For years, I tried seeing my value based on how busy I was. I attached my value to me being needed, me being noticed. But the more I tried to be busy, the more I tried to feel important, I just felt empty. Until it got to an extent, I had to sit down and I had to look inward about myself. I looked inwardly about myself and I had to ask, God is the originator of identity. He's our source. So I think I need to ask my source what he wants me to be. Who am I? Why did he create me? Because God created everyone for a reason. He has a reason and he created us differently with our unique identity for the assignment he wants us to do. So that period I was alone. I started talking to myself, asking myself a lot of questions. And I asked myself a certain question that I don't want to forget and I don't really forget that question is who am I when I'm alone? When there's no one clapping, who am I? So that question bets my identity that I got to understand that I am a builder. And it changed my mindset, it realigned my decision making and everything about me. That was how my journey of identity started.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I know that my co-host is here itching, wanting to ask you some
Yes,
questions. Let her ask
yes.
you one or two questions before we take a break. Gratitude.
Okay, so you said so much on how you realized yourself and how you got your identity. So I just have one question, ma. How were you able to balance your career, your family relationship while staying true to yourself? How are you able to balance everything?
Okay, that's understanding my role as a mother, as a wife, is actually different from my identity. So that understanding of who I am, the understanding of my role as a wife, my role as a mother, and the job I do, I don't allow it to be replaced by who am I. My role is different. My title is different. My job is different from my identity. My identity is a value, my words, my uniqueness. So I have this understanding that it cannot be mixed. So for me to balance it, I have this understanding that it is different. That understanding that it is different helped me to balance my role from my identity and being a mother.
Okay, yeah, interesting. That is really, really nice. But I really have another question. Hope you don't mind, ma. So, what role does self-care play in maintaining a strong sense of self? What role of
Thank you for this
self-care
question.
play in maintaining a strong sense of self?
As a woman, as a lady, it is very important to self-love, to love yourself, to care for yourself. When you love and care for yourself, it will not allow you to be vulnerable to people. When you love yourself, you have this understanding of who you are. You will have an identity. But whenever you don't care for yourself, you don't love yourself, it will enable you to be vulnerable to comparison, be vulnerable to what the society wants. You'll be vulnerable to a lot of things. But when you love yourself, there's some decision that you will not make because of your identity. When you care for yourself, there are so many things that you'll be restricted to. You will have a lot of boundaries because you love yourself. And for the fact that you have an identity, you'll be restricted from doing a lot of things. There are so many ladies out there that are seeking validation from the wrong relationship, validation from social media, validation from the wrong thing because they don't have an identity and because they don't love and care for themselves. But by the time you care for yourself, there are so many things you'll be restricted from doing. There are so many things you will set boundaries because you have an identity.
Yeah, I agree with you. You have an identity to protect, actually. As a
Yes.
woman, we all have identities to protect. We're going to be going on a short break. But before we go on a short break, I'm going to leave you with this question so you could, start putting it together. When we come back, you give us the answer. Because this question is asking for other women out there, including me, seated here. So what happens, or how can a woman identify or discover her true identity? We'll go for a short break and we'll be back. Okay, so we're going for a short break and
Tips on how to avoid identity theft. There is no fail-safe way to prevent identity theft, but there are some things you can do to reduce chances that you'll be a target. Number 1, freeze your credit. Freezing your credit restricts access to your records. Freezing your credit restricts access to your records, so new credits files. Freezing your credit restricts access to your records, so new credit files cannot be opened. It's also a way to prevent identity theft online. It's free to freeze your credit and unfreeze it when you want to open an account. A credit freeze provides the best protection against an identity theft using your data to open a new account. Number 2, safeguard your social security number. Your social security number is the master key to your personal data. Guard it as best as you can. When you ask for your number, ask why it is needed and how it will be protected. Don't carry your card with you. Securely store or shred paperwork containing your social security number. Number 3, be alert to phishing and spoofing. Scammers can make phone calls appear to come from government entities or businesses, and emails that appears to be legitimate may be attempts to steal your information. Initiate a callback or return email yourself, working from a known entity such as the official website, rather than responding to a call or email, and be wary of attachment. Many contains malware. Number 4, use strong passwords and add an authentication step. Use a password manager to create and store complex, unique passwords for your account. Don't reuse passwords. Adding an authenticator app can reduce your risk too. Don't rely on security questions to keep your account safe. Scammers can easily find out things like your pet names or your local high school mascot by perusing your social media account. It's worth thinking carefully about what you disclose on social media so you don't give away key data or clues about how you answer security questions. Number 5, use alerts. Many financial institutions will text or email when transactions are made on your account. Sign up so that you know when and where your credit or debit cards are used, when there are withdrawals or deposits to financial accounts, and more. Number 6, watch your mailbox. Stolen mail is one of the easiest paths to a stolen identity. Have your mail held if you're out of town. Lastly, protect your mobile devices. Use passwords on your electronic devices. Use a banking app rather than a mobile browser for banking.
It's still Women's Corner, and we still have our guest with us. Can we have her up on the screen, please? Thank you for joining us again, Jane. Yes, I asked the question before I left. Anyways, we just learned about identity theft, and I know that has helped a whole lot of people out there to know how to protect their identity, especially when it comes to their banking, apps and all that. But anyway, back to my question. I asked you a question before I left. I said, what happens when, okay, I just was asking on identity discovering and all that. What would you tell a woman struggling with self-worth and identity crisis topic? That's one of them. And then, how can a woman discover her true identity?
Okay, as a woman, first of all, you have to go back to your source. Like I said earlier on, God is the source of our identity. He created everyone differently, and He gave every one of us our unique identity. So you have to go back to your source and ask Him, who are you? What does He want you to do? You know, there's a place for you you can admire women, but when you try to fit your life into their calling, that's when you miss the beauty of your own assignment. So you go back to your source and ask Him, who are you? Let me use this illustration: an iPhone and a Samsung. An iPhone doesn't have to be a Samsung for it to be valuable. That's the same thing. You don't have to be women. We don't have to be the next person for us to be valuable. Every one of us, we are unique, and God created us in different manner, in different forms, for us to have a different identity. So the first thing you need to do, you need to go back to your source. Secondly, you need to look inwardly. There are so many people that they don't want to look inwardly about themselves. They look at what they see outside. They base their judgment based on what people do, the appearance of people, the way they see things. So they try to map out their own identity from others. They try to be like others. They try to be like other people's blueprints. They try to fit into someone else's life as their own identity. Then another thing you need to do for you to discover your identity is ask yourself so many questions. What are your values? What are the things you value the most? What is that pain you've been able to overcome? What can you tell about the pain you've been able to overcome? You know, there are a lot of people that they wear their past mistake as a badge. They talk about it. They do so many things about it. But there's this thing I really want to address, that the fact that you've passed through a certain challenge or you've passed through a certain thing doesn't mean that is actually who you are. So that's a part of it. That's just a chapter, not the whole book about you. But from that book about you, you have an identity inside of it. So when you ask yourself about this question, what are the things you value the most? What is that pain that you've been able to overcome, that you have an experience about it, that you can help someone that is currently going through that challenge, and the person will be fine. That is how you'll be able to discover your identity.
Saying you ask a creator, I don't know, and the public needs to know, who are you referring to, you know, when you say you want to find out who exactly you are?
I'm referring to God. He created everyone. He created everything. So you need to go back to God and ask Him, who are you? He has a better answer to it for you to know who you are.
So much, you know, that was a fantastic answer, because to tell you the truth, you also said something about not wanting to be like another woman. That's a mistake a lot of women do. A lot of people do. Oh, I see this person. Oh, I want to be like this person. You know, you think you can fit into the person's shoes without discovering your own identity. Thank you for clearing up that. Okay, so what happens to a woman who lacks a sense of identity? What happens to a woman who lacks a sense of identity? Because some of us lacks a sense of identity. We don't have identity. We don't, you know, we don't even understand what identity is. So what happens to such a woman?
A woman who lacks identity will be vulnerable to a lot of things. She'll be vulnerable to comparison. She will compare herself. She will compare her reality with the highlights of other people. She will not be appreciative of what she has and what she has accomplished. She'll be vulnerable to people. She'll be vulnerable in her relationship. She won't be able to make the right decision because she doesn't know who she is. Because knowing who you are will give you a direction on the kind of decision you are to make, the kind of people you should surround yourself with, and the kind of life you are to live. But whenever you don't have an identity, you'll be vulnerable to the social media, you'll be vulnerable to a lot of things. You will not be appreciative of what you have or who you are.
Oh, wow. Ha. So we need to find our identity. That's what you're saying. Whether we like it or not,
Yes.
we should be able to find or have a sense of identity. Yes, that's what you just said to us. Anyway, we're moving on. What would you tell a woman? I have asked you that question before and you have not responded. So I'm going back to that same question. What would you tell a woman struggling with a low self-worth and identity crisis?
I'll say this with love, that you are not broken, that I will tell her that you are not broken. You are not what you've been through. You are not your past mistake. You are not what the society says about you. You are who you are. You are what God has created you to be. You have an identity. So you don't have to be vulnerable to societal pressure. You don't have to be vulnerable to people. I will say this with all love, that you are loved, and there's a lot much things you can accomplish. You just have to come out of your shell. You just have to ask yourself a lot of questions. You just have to be kind to yourself. You just have to treat yourself well for you to be loved.
Everyone has an identity. That's what you just said.
Yeah.
I hope so, because I'm taking it back to the streets. The young girls on the street, you know what I mean? The girls out there doing the wrong thing. I do not think that they've been able to find their identity, because if they have, I don't think they'll be engaging in what they do. And so for such girls, honestly, truthfully, how do you think you could help them find their identity? Because they are all listening to you right now and you're a coach on this identity, whatever. So how will you speak to them to be able to find their identity? Are you going to start by saying, stop that thing you're doing, it's wrong, you have to go get your identity or something? How do you think you want to encourage them to get identity?
I want them to surround themselves with people that believe in them. You know, when you surround yourself with people that don't believe in you, it will actually reduce your self-esteem. But if you're trying to discover yourself as a young lady, you have to surround yourself with people that believe in you, people that really care about you. I also tell them that there's a lot more that they have. There are things they can accomplish, but they have to discover their identity. You need to separate yourself and have a deep reflection about who you are. You need to have an understanding of who you are, so you don't have to be vulnerable to the society, so you don't have to be vulnerable to even yourself.
Thank you so much. Anyways, we'll be going for a breaker and we'll be calling for a tip. Let's go for the breaker. We'll be back. Thank you for staying with us.
Nine ridiculous safety tips Gen Z never heard. As a member of Generation X Millennial, lot has been heard ridiculous safety tips in our time. Some came from the greatest generations, others from boomers, and even a few came from our own generation. Rounding up some of the most outlandish for the Gen Zs while stating the fact. Don't sit on cold side work, it will give you hemorrhoids. This is false. Actually, don't sit on the cold side work for too long. What does matter, however, is how long you remain seated for. It is the lack of movement that can cause bowels because it puts pressure on your rectum. With this in mind, people who sit at desks should take regular breaks to stand up. 2. Don't let anything touch a power cord or it will explode. False again. As long as your power cord is functioning properly, you have nothing to worry about. On the other hand, if there are exposed wires or the cord gets hot when in use, think space heater, it is a fire hazard. 3. If you wear your coat indoors, it won't protect you from freezing. Wrong. Your coat will still insulate you from freezing temperatures even if you've been wearing it inside. Since your skin is already toasty, it will feel cooler outside until your body has had time to acclimate to the new air temperature. 4. Don't lean on car doors, it will spontaneously open and you'll fall out, even if the door is properly closed, locked, and your seat belted. It's so false.
As long as the door is functioning properly, there shouldn't be a problem. 5. Don't learn how to swim. You may drown while you are learning. Well, there's always the possibility of something bad happening no matter what you do. But according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, formal swimming lessons can decrease your chance of drowning, not increase it. 6. Don't take antidepressant. They are drugs and drugs are bad. False. This advice is usually followed by exercise or get out in nature and you feel all better. Long-term depression means your brain isn't making the chemicals it needs. Medications help some of our brains do their job better. There is no shame in mental wellness gain. 7. You must have heard of this. Do not swallow your gum. It will stay in your stomach for 7 years. No worries. The gum will pass through. According to clinical research, you only really need to worry if you're constipated, a child, and swallow a lot of gum. 8. Don't go outside when it's cold. Being cold will make you get the flu or catch cold. Note, being cold will make you sick. It may make your body less able to fight off viruses, but you have to come in contact with the flu or cold virus to get sick. No virus, no sickness. 9. Sitting too close to the television will ruin your eyes. Back in the 60s, this was actually true. Some new color TVs emitted harmful radiation, so not sitting too close was a good idea. Nowadays, there's nothing to worry about. You may get a little eye strain, but that's it. Thank you.
Come back. I mean, we were just laughing behind the studio here, Gratitude and I, trying to see if we have an identity, trying
Yes.
to find our
Identity.
Can we have change back on the screen, please? Welcome back. Thank you for
Thank
holding
you.
on there. Okay, Gratitude has a question for you. Gratitude?
Yes. So we've listened to all you said. We've picked so many things that we've been able to identify ourselves. Yes. So the question I have for you, ma'am, you said a lot about psychological and emotional realization of your identity, of our identity as women. So what are the practical steps we need to take to actualize our identity or to find our identity? What practical steps do you think we should take?
Okay. For you to find your identity, the practical step means you get a journal, you start journalizing. What are the things that you value the most? What are the things you don't value? There's one thing about knowing who you are. Is another thing to know who you are not. So many persons are always after who am I, but who are you not? You need to understand this. So you journalize them. You write out the things you value the most. Who are you not? Who are you? What are the things that you are interested in? What are the past experience that you've passed through that you can talk about, that you can bring others out of that challenge? You know, a lot of us go through certain things and God will help us to be authority in that area. By the time we're able to conquer that pain and we are okay, we bring others out of that place. So you write them down. What are the things you've passed through? What are the things you can help people bring them out of that place? What are the things that interest you? What are the things that you value the most? So when you put this down, you go through them, you reflect on them daily. And while reflecting on them, you get the clarity of your identity.
Thank you so much. Okay, we're running off right now. We do not have that much time. But we're going to ask you one last question, if you can, put it together for us in 1 minute. What are the advices you want to give out there for women to find their identity in a rap, please?
Okay. Women, it is necessary and it is important to find your identity. Finding your identity will also aid you in fulfilling your purpose. It will help you not to be, it will help you to live the kind of life God actually wants you to be. Because discovering your identity and also fulfilling your purpose will also help you in your day-to-day decision. It will help you align your values together. It will help you know your worth as a woman. It will protect your, it will enable you to protect yourself. It will help you to align your mind. There are so many things you'll be able to avoid by understanding who you are. Knowing who you are will save you a lot of stress. It will save you from a lot of depression. It will save you a lot of time. It will save you a lot of things. So as a woman, it is very important to know who you are, because knowing who you are will help you fulfill the purpose, and it will help you fulfill the assignment which God has called you to do and to be.
It's important for all women to know who they are. But I'm just going to pity the men and ask one more last question. Are the men not supposed to know who they are too?
They are. It's very important for everybody knowing who you are, because as a man, you need to know who you are for you. Because if you don't know who you are, there's no way you'll be able to manage your home or take care of your home. And when you don't know the road you are going to, how can you lead someone else? So it's very important as a man to have an identity for yourself.
Thank you so much, Chine. We're going to let you go for now, because we're going to call you back for the show next time, because you did amazingly well. But we have to ask you, did you enjoy yourself on this show? And did you miss Blossom? Did you miss Blossom? Let us know. Yes, you sure did. Thank you so much for having time to join us this morning. We'll call you when we call you next time. We're sure you're going to listen to us. And you have helped Gratitude and I to learn how to find our identity.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Back to us in the house.
Yeah.
Wait, do you have an identity?
Right now, I think I do.
Yes.
Yes, I do. I just realized my identity.
Okay. I have identity too. And then, but anyway, Chinya has said it out. I hope the women listen how to find your identity. She said it will help you to know who you are and help you to realize the dream that God has sent you to this world to do.